Today's lesson, we are starting with a new skill, and the opener was put on the Google Drive. So if you have not watched that opener, if you'll come back here to this page and click on this tab to watch the lesson opener video, it's a Learn Zillion video, and then come back and watch this lesson video with Miss Outlaw. That way you will have gotten all of the same things that the students got in class today. So our learning targets for today, this week actually, these are going to be the skills we're going to be focused on the next several days. We are learning to find the unknown number needed to make a multiplication or division problem true. And we are also learning to find the missing whole number in a division problem. So let's look at this together. How are multiplication and division related? Multiplication, remember, joins equal groups to find a total or a product. Division starts with a total and breaks it up into equal groups, and the answer is called the quotient. So the answer to a multiplication problem, remember, is product, and the answer to a division problem is called quotient. We put those on our tip chart the past couple of weeks. Let's just do a review looking at this model. Multiplication is joining equal groups. So if we have 3 groups or rows and we have 4 in each group, then our total, the answer, the product, is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. You've learned your fours facts, so now this should make a little bit more sense. With division, if we take a total of 12 tennis balls and we put them into 3 groups or 3 rows, then we're going to end up with 4 in each group. So these go together. The multiplication problem and the division problem go together to represent the same picture, just looking at it different ways. We can use multiplication and division equations to describe a problem. Let's look at this model. Juan arranges pennies in an array. There's 4 rows of pennies, and he put 8 in each row. So we can use these multiplication sentences to describe how many pennies there are in Juan's array. 4 rows of 8 is 32, or 4 times 8 equals 32 pennies. Or if we look at, there's 8 pennies in each group, and 4 groups, there's 32 pennies in all. So 8 times 4 is 32. We can use division to tell how many pennies are in each row and how many rows there are. 32 pennies put into 4 rows, equal amounts, means there's going to be 8 pennies in each row. Or if we have 32 pennies and we put them in groups of 8, there's going to be 4 rows of pennies. Notice that in all of the equations, they're the same 3 numbers are being used, 4, 8, and 32. And so we were looking at right here, a lot of students remember the fact family triangle from the primary school. 32 divided by 4 is 8, or 32 divided by 8 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. If we circle the total in each equation, you can see that the total here is 32. It's on the end. But for a division sentence, the total is at the beginning. So we're going to be noticing that as at the front or the beginning of a division sentence, but it's at the end of a multiplication sentence. Division equations have related multiplication equations. To help us solve a division problem, we can write a multiplication equation that uses the same numbers. Let's look at this word problem. Nina buys 20 stickers. She puts the same number of stickers on each of 5 pages in her scrapbook. How many stickers does she put on each page? Here's what we know from this word problem. We know that the total number of stickers is 20. We know that the number of groups or pages is 5. So our total number is 20. We got that from the word problem. We know that our number of groups or pages, because you can group things on pages. So think of a page as a group, is 5. Same number on each of 5 pages. What we don't know, what was not given to us in this word problem, is how many of those stickers can go on each scrapbook page. So that's what we have to figure out using multiplication and division. You might know the answer in your head, but that is not It was not given as part of the word problem, so that's the missing part that we were not given. If we look at this using a model, here's our 20 stickers, here are our 5 pages. If we write a division equation, that's what we were given. The total put into 5 groups, 20 divided by 5, and the answer, the quotient, is what we're not given. We can also write a multiplication equation if we have 5 groups and we don't know how many to put in each group, so that's an unknown. We can show that by a box or a question mark or a blank to fill in. 5 times some number equals 20. What we did in class was we counted it out, like what we had our groups, and we shared it out. We said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But some students said, well, Miss Outlaw, I know what the missing part is now because I know that 4 times 5 is 20. That was one of my facts last week. So you can use what you know, and that's quicker than using these strategies. As we get to where we memorize more and more of these facts, we don't have to rely on these strategies as much, although we still need to understand them to answer some questions we might be asked. All right, so if we take the 20 stickers and we put it each on 5 pages, we see from modeling it out that there's 4 on each page. Or we could say 5 times what number equals 20? Same thing, 5 times 4 is 20. This fact family, all of these sentences are using 4, 5, and 20. We're going to skip this question because we skipped it in class and come back to it if we have a minute. Here's a chart that we filled out in class. We have a multiplication column and we have a division column. There's a multiplication problem on this side and a related division problem on this side, and we're going to use each of the sides to fill in the missing part on the other side. 8 times 5 is some number. Well, if we come over here and look at this division problem, it's completely filled out. 40 divided by 5 equals 8. And a couple of slides ago, we said the total for the division problem is going to come first, and that will be what we put in last on the multiplication problem. So 8 times 5 is 40 because 40 divided by 5 equals 8. Look at this next one. 4 times 7 equals some number. It's the answer. We may or may not know it, but let's use a division problem to help us. 28 divided by some number equals 4. Well, that's the same thing. We're missing this part over here, the product, but we're given the total over here. So we say 4 times 7 is 28, and then 28 divided by some number is 4, and that would be the factor over here. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. 3 times some number gives me a total, and the related division sentence is 18 divided by 6 gives me some number. So we can put this over here as our total and say 18 times something is, 3 times some number is 18, and here's a factor that's listed over here but wasn't put over here, so that's what we need to put. So 3 times 6 is 18, and therefore 18 divided by 6 is 3. 9 times 6 is something, and then we could make a related division sentence out of that. What we did in class was we made groups of 9 and added that up. So 9 and 9 more is 18, and then 9 more is 27, 9 more is 36, 9 more is 45, and then 9 more is 54. So 9 repeatedly added 6 times is 54. And then the division sentence we can make from that, we're always going to take that total and start the division sentence with that. 54 divided by 6 equals 9. What are the other members of the fact family that includes the multiplication fact 2 times 8 equals 16? Well, we made a fact family triangle right here. And you're looking for the other sentences that also include 2, 8, and 16. See if you can figure out what the answer choice should be, A, B, C, or D. And you're right, it should be answer A, because that's the only one that has 16, 2, and 8 in the other three sentences. This one, which set of numbers can be used to make a multiplication division fact family? So we're going to be making one of those triangles again. The total goes up at the top and the factors are on either side. What I told the students this class is notice that the numbers are listed in increasing order from smallest to largest. So how you need to look at it is if you take these two numbers and multiply them together, if it is a multiplication division fact family, you should get this as your product. Is 3 times 5 8? No, 3 plus 5 is 8, so it's not A. Look at B, C, and D and see if you can figure out what it should be. Okay, hopefully you figured that out. Letter D, 3 times 6 is not 9. 3 plus 6 is 9, but 3 times 6 is 18, so that's not what I'm looking for. Letter C, 2 times 8 is not 12, it's 16, so that can't be the set that I'm going to make facts out of, a division fact family, multiplication fact family. 3 times 4, it is 12, so that has to be it. And then we can make the other facts. There's always going to be two multiplication and two division sentences when you're looking at fact family, except for your squares facts, which are your doubles, the 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, and so on. There would only be one multiplication and one division fact with those. So if we flip them and flop them like we're used to doing on our bell ringers, we would say that 4 times 3 is 12. And like we saw on our previous slides, we then take the product of the multiplication sentences and turn it into the first number in a division equation. You always start with the answer to the multiplication problem for your division sentence. Then we'll say 12 divided by 4 equals 3, and 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Those are the fact family members. I'm going to multiply 3 times 4 or 4 times 3. And I'm going to divide 12 by 4 to get 3 and divide 12 by 3 to get 4. So you do this, stop the video or pause the video and you try your hand at making some division, multiplication, two division sentences using the numbers 7, 28, and 4. And then check back with me for your answers. 7 times 4 equals 28. 4 times 7 equals 28. And then we take our total and start the division sentences with that. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Let's try another one. You try making a fact family out of 5, 4, and 20. Two multiplication, two division sentences. And then pause the video, but then check back with me for your answers. 4 times 5 equals 20. 5 times 4 equals 20. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And then 20 divided by 5 equals 4. You don't even have to know the answers because when you're given the three parts to the fact family, you can just put the pieces of the puzzles together. And one more. If you'll try to make fact families out of 4, 9, and 36. Let me move that out of the way. Pause the video and check back with me. So your multiplication sentences should be 9 times 4 equals 36. And then 4 times 9 equals 36. Doesn't matter the order as long as you have each of these sentences written down. And then you should have a sentence that says 36 divided by 9 equals 4. And then 36 divided by 4 equals 9. Our quick check for today. What unknown number makes the equation below true? Try each one of these and and fit it in there. That's the way you can get it. You know your threes and fours facts, and you could skip count by fives. You may not know your sixes, but let's just check and see. 3 times 6. You've got that memorized. Is 3 times 6 24? I'm not sure about 6 times 6, so let me just skip that and come back to it. 5 times 6. If you skip count by 5 6 times, is that going to be 24? And then 4 times 6. You studied your 4 facts last week. It's 4 times 6, 24. Even though I didn't get to 6, you should pick D as your correct answer because 4 times 6 is 24. It helps getting those facts memorized to answer questions like this. Whoopsie, instead of erasing them, moving my words around. That's it for today's lesson video. Please go find your math practice pages, I think it's 41 and 42, the ones that I sent you through your Gmail, and work those out. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.